Yes, Judge. In cause number 2020-0D03607, State of Texas versus Alex A. Olivas. Announcement of council, please.
Charles R. Calvance for the state of Texas.
John Williams for Mr. Olivas, ready, Your Honor.
All right, and so I'm showing that this is set for a plea for today. Let me go ahead and swear in the defendant, Mr. Olivas. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, Mr. Olivas?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, before we go any further, I want to make sure, are you waiving an in-person plea and okay with going through this Zoom hearing? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so for the record, state your complete name, date of birth, and whether or not you are a U.S. citizen.
My full name is Alex Ariel Olivas. Date of birth is August 10, 1979, and I'm a U.S. citizen, ma'am.
All right, and I'm showing that you are going to be pleading to an assault class A misdemeanor that is punishable by up to 365 days in the county jail and a fine not to exceed $4,000. Do you understand the punishment range for the charge that you are going to be pleading to?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you understand you have a right to remain silent, a right to trial by jury, a right to counsel, a right to confront or cross-examine witnesses, and a right to call witnesses on your behalf or in your defense?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 1, which are the plea papers in the said cause number. Are these your signatures in the said cause number?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you read and understand the plea papers?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Williams, did you explain the plea papers to Mr. Olivas, and do you believe he has understood the admonishments, the rights, and the consequences of giving up these rights by entering a plea in this case?
I do, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Olivas, are you satisfied with your attorney's representation of you in this case?
Yes, ma'am. I'm glad and appreciative with him.
All right. All right. Mr. Williams, do you have reason to believe that your client is not presently competent to enter into this plea?
I do not, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Olivas, have you ever been found to be mentally incompetent or to be seen by a doctor or psychiatrist who found you to be mentally ill?
No, ma'am.
All right. Based on your testimony, your attorney's representation, and my observation, I'm going to find that you are competent to enter into this plea. You have stated you are a U.S. citizen, and while I do believe you, I need you to understand if for some reason you are not a citizen, a plea of guilty and a finding of guilty may result in deportation, the exclusion from admission to this country, or the denial of naturalization. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Based on the fact that we've taken care of those issues, I'm going to ask you to the charge against you. What is your plea? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
All right. Are you making this plea freely or voluntarily?
Great, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. State, please summarize the evidence.
Yes, Your Honor. The state will be able to prove this case if it proceeds to trial by evidence, by presentation of evidence, including the testimony of the complaining witness that on or about the 5th day of June, 2020, in the county of El Paso, in the state of Texas, that Alex A. Olivas, here referred to as defendant, did intentionally and only threaten Joe Gonzalez, the victim, with imminent bodily injury, and by use of a knife, and did exhibit that knife and during the commission of and immediately flight of said offense.
All right. Is there a plea bargain agreement, Mr. Vance?
Yes, there is, Your Honor. 2 years community supervision and deferred adjudication community supervision. Assessment of a fine of $1,000, probated for $1,000, 300 hours of community service as a condition of community supervision, UABA, curfew, mental health, caseload, no offensive contact with Joe Anthony Gonzalez and Kathy Alexis Olivas, and in all other standard terms.
All right. Let me ask you, Mr. Williams, is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
All right. And Mr. Vance, in regards to the papers that are before me?
Yes, Your Honor. The state offers State's Exhibit 1 and State's Exhibit 2, which is the 3914 discovery disclosure.
All right. Mr. Williams.
No objection.
Okay, no objection to the admittance. Those documents are admitted. All right, Mr. Olivas, is this your understanding of the plea agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And Mr. Williams, have you had a chance to review portal and all documents tendered to you?
I have, Your Honor.
All right. All right, Mr. Olivas, let me go ahead and tell you that understand the plea agreement is not binding on the court. However, should I reject it, I would permit you to withdraw your plea of guilty. If the court follows the plea agreement, you may not withdraw your plea except on matters raised by written motion and ruled on before trial or by permission of the court. These are the appeal rights explained to you in the trial court's certification of your right to appeal, the original of which was signed by you, your attorney, and now signed by me, and a copy will be given to you in just a little bit of time. Do you understand that?
Right.
Right. Based on your plea of guilty and the evidence introduced, I will accept your plea and at this time find the evidence substantiates your guilt. However, I understand that there is a motion for deferred before me. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Is this your signature on the motion for deferred?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Williams, have you explained to your client the benefits and detriments of deferred adjudication?
I have, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Olivas, I'm just wanting to make sure that you understand that if you violate a condition of deferred adjudication, this court can proceed to sentence you up to the full range of punishment for this offense you're pleading to the lesser, so it would be in the El Paso County Detention Facility. Do you understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And are you asking this court to grant you deferred adjudication?
Yes, ma'am.
I therefore find there is sufficient evidence to substantiate a finding of guilt. However, I will not enter a finding of guilt at this time. Instead, I will defer further proceedings and place you on community supervision for a period of 2 years. During those 2 years, you will comply with the terms of condition that were stated, which includes the $1,000 fine, which was probated. You must complete your community service hours, and you must also stay away from the victims, among the other things that are standard. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Understand that if you successfully complete your probation, you may petition this court for an order of non-disclosure. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. With that being said, is there a victim impact statement, Mr. Vance?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Is there anything further from the state?
No, Your Honor, nothing further.
Okay. Anything from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. My client has he's a U.S. citizen, but he has a house and resides in Juarez. He does work in El Paso, and he has discussed this with the probation officer, but we would like to get the court's official permission for him to reside in Juarez.
Was Judge Perez aware of this prior to today?
I doubt it, Judge. No, usually this is nothing that we would address until the plea.
Okay. Let me go ahead and conclude the plea then, for right now. So, Mr. Olivas, your sentence will commence this day and you'll be given credit for any time that you have spent in jail on these charges. I need you to stay right there. They're going to fingerprint you for the plea papers and they'll give you reporting instructions, okay? I'm gonna go off the record on the issue that Mr. Williams has brought up because it's a probation issue anyway, and we can always set it for a hearing afterwards, but you are to start reporting to probation as soon as they give you those instructions, okay?
Yes, ma'am.